Welcome to the MarketMYSTR Show, the show made exclusively for short-term rental owners and co-hosts that actually works, so you can stop wasting time and money on short-term rental and co-hosting marketing strategies that don't work. Listen in for tips, tricks, and our book solid, move the needle, and core 4 marketing strategies. Here's your host, Scott Hill.
All right, welcome to this week's episode of the MarketMYSTR Show, episode number 13, where we are going to share my experience of being a guest on a Tier 2 property in 30A along the panhandle of Florida. But before we do that, because it's the MarketMYSTR Show, and because we're launching and have launched actually 15 STR game changers for our subscribers, and in the process of launching another 85 over the next year, we are going to highlight in these episodes at the beginning and end of every podcast the 2 game changers that we introduce every week. So this episode's no different. We're going to start, and because Jeremy's my co-host here, and he is also my partner in Ultvare, our boutique co-hosting company in 30A that we're launching, he's going to help me by being a guinea pig every time, because we want to get his reaction. Most importantly, because he owns properties and because he's managed properties. So he has been in these situations and knows what it's like to try to market a property to get the most out of it. Jeremy, how's it going?
Good, it's great. I'm excited to hear them. If anybody didn't listen to the last episode, the ones you shared on the last one were killer. So I'm sure.
Yeah, last episode we went through game changer number 7, the exclusive offer, which love it. And also game changer number 1, the welcome video. If you don't know what the welcome video, you're going to have to listen to that episode or sign up for a free trial.
I know it was exactly. I know you said that was game changer number 1, and it really might be the biggest game changer in my mind.
Unreal.
I know you've got a lot coming, but I think that's number 1 might be the most.
I mean, you and I both know elite hosting of a property begins with the property. The property's got to be legit. It has got to be legit. That's the first thing. And that property being legit would include the listing, right? So the listing's got to be number 1. I'm curious, you can redo these if you think, but I would put revenue management second, property first, revenue management second, and marketing third is the 3 pillars of greatness to hosting. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Okay. So with that said, that's why the welcome video is number 1, because the minute you get a booking and you want to start to set the stage, that's where you do that welcome video, in my opinion. So, and I can't wait to do them. So
go back and listen to the last episode and he'll give you a nice explanation.
All right. So this week, game changer number 4, creating and cloning direct booking pages. Now, there are plenty of places you can create direct booking pages, right? Every PMS actually has a direct booking page option. Now, I'm not going to even get into the limitations of those and all that, but in our world, MarketMYSTR, here's why we believe this is a game changer in our system. And Jeremy, first talk about direct booking pages, your history of direct booking pages.
Yeah. So it started off not fun. When I got to a place, if I wasn't just Airbnb, it wasn't just VRBO, and said, okay, let's start marketing. And that was before I think MarketMYSTR existed, and I was on MailChimp and doing all the stuff. I signed up with a company that's very popular to build my website, spent way more money than I should have to do it. And it turned out to be a pretty rough experience. I wasn't working a lot. I did get some guests that were trying to book and the site kept failing. So I had a lot of problems, eventually had to just cancel it. They handed over the stuff to me. And then I built my own quickly. That was pretty horrible out of WordPress. Listed that worked. I had that one for a little while, but then when I found MarketMYSTR, switched over and was able to create each landing page for each property and then an overall website.
So what would have happened if you knew at the time that, because MarketMYSTR didn't exist, that you could have had us help you create a booking page for $65? How would that have been different?
I think I paid $5,000 for my first website.
Okay, so that's number 1. MarketMYSTR can create a direct booking page for you using one of our templates, which are proven templates, where all you need to do is supply all of your images for your properties. You need to supply your copy. You need to tell people, you need to be able to help us tell people about your property, and then your direct booking widget, which would come from your PMS. We can help you create a 1 page, and then we can create multiple pages for you. But here's where I think the magic happens. And here's where I think, I don't know, I'd love to get your reaction. Your honest reaction is going to be all that we require, Jeremy. But what if you were able to create a direct booking page, and then that page got you direct booking from your guests, or more importantly, people who wanted to rebook, so they could both save money and you could save money. But what if, Jeremy, your property was located in a place, and I know you've had properties in these places, Poconos is where you've had them, where there's seasons to people who book on your property. There are things people can do in those markets in all 4 seasons. And what would happen? What do you think would happen if you could clone your direct booking page that has to speak to everybody, and then that booking page that you clone is geared to fall, is geared to spring, is geared to summer, is geared to winter, and then not only that, one that's geared to hunting, one that might be geared to a women's getaway, and then the page is tweaked by pictures and copy, so that if you posted something about why your property is perfect for a woman's getaway, and those pictures and the post and the story that's told allowed you to do that, how would that have helped you, or how can that help you?
Yeah. I mean, honest feedback, I think that's incredible. So I paid all that money for a website. Nothing ever changed. I, every once in a while, send photos, and it would take a week, right? And I would get photos changed, but we do it for our Airbnb listings. We do it for our VRBO listings. We change by season, right? To attract attention. It just makes sense that you would do the same thing with your landing page. And I don't know anyone else that's doing that or has the ease of the ability to do that.
And so if you're looking to improve your profit margin, if you're looking to speak to other ideal customers, but you can't do it with your general listing page, which you can't, you can't do it on your Airbnb. If you want to tell people your property is great for a small wedding, well, you would probably put some pictures in that list, but you can't do it with your general Airbnb listing. And that's what makes cloning direct booking pages as many as you want. And not only that, I've left one bonus out, Jeremy, because what you can also do is not only for avatars, for your ideal potential like niche client, and not just for seasons, but what about, let's say your property is going to have a very exclusive art festival, or you want to make it even more exclusive, and you could clone booking pages, what we call compression events, right? All the compression events that happen, and events. Then and all the events that probably happen in your area tend to happen, and
ties directly into revenue management, right? Because Price Labs now calls out, I mean, it's probably not every single one, but it's probably close to every single compression event that's happening in that market.
That's right.
Makes it easy to be like, oh, the Spartan race is coming up in the Poconos. Perfect. Here we go.
And nothing is more inconsistent than if you did a video or you did some sort of social media post anywhere on the internet, on any of the platforms that said, my property is perfect for the Spartan event. And they get to your landing page and there is no mention of Spartan event. There's nothing more consistent than that. But if you cloned your standard booking page that you have for everyday use, and you cloned it, and there was a big banner at the top that said, perfect for this week's Spartan event, and then you showed pictures of the Spartan event, and you showed, you created a special graphic where it showed the distance between where the start line was and to where your property, right? It's just different. It's just totally different.
And then a lot of those events are yearly events too, right? So you build it once, maybe you make some tweaks, but you're building it up front, and then you're ready to go for years.
Yeah, and the tweak you make next year is you just change the date, and then you relaunch it, and you put the ad out, and then you get the booking. That's what makes this a game changer, and that's why we're proud of it, and we look forward to seeing people use this in a way that is just, it changes the game for them.
And like all of this stuff is 100% the reason why I was excited to partner with you.
Yeah, so stick around for game changer number 12 at the end of this episode. But for now, I am going to be a guest. I was a guest last week, and I think it's important to hopefully maybe shed some light on some of these things that happened to me, and it might make people think about how they can elevate their guest, or actually, more importantly, their hosting effort.
So you're gonna let us know how Joe Schmo Hosting did for you.
I am. And I'm disappointed in them. I'm excited for us, because what you're going to find, what happened was, guys, because I'm opening a co-hosting company, I am way more acutely aware of what it's like to be a guest in a property and what people might experience. So I go into these properties. I did not leave a review. I don't want to be unkind because I was really probably overly critical of the
Yeah.
property. So I just decided not to leave any review. So that's not going to come back to haunt them. But what happened was, Jeremy, in the first 2 days, and I stopped after that, which you and I have talked about how we're going to do our concierge service, I found 36 things that I was not happy about. I wouldn't say, like, listen, these are first world problems. I am more than the average Joe aware that I have the blessings that a lot of people don't.
Right.
So when you listen to these things, you may, if you're not getting context, think, oh, this guy's really picky. Well, that's the point if you're going to be a 5-star host, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
30, Jeremy, 36 things that could have been that I didn't like, 29 of which you're going to find are preventable. If they just cared enough, there would only be 6, and 6 of them, they're just bad design on the property, frankly. And there's not much he can do about it now, but
Well, you can't, I mean, depending upon what it is, but you get the guest feedback because there are guests that are probably saying, hey, this wasn't an ideal whatever. And then you figure out a way to fix it. But I'm thinking a lot of this stuff comes down to their SOPs, right? They don't have the right systems in place to make sure that these things are taken care of.
so here's what we're going to do. Those of you who are listening, I'm going to talk about all of these. Jeremy's going to interrupt me anytime he has some good, valuable stuff to share. And that is going to be at any time. And then we're just going to go from there. And a lot of this is going to be Jeremy's experience, this stuff. So Jeremy, here are my 36 bad things that I experienced while I was on
All right,
Seagrove.
buckle up.
Here we go. First off, incomplete house guide. There was information that was sorely lacking about the beach. And one of the content pieces I did as a result of this, Jeremy, was I said, I know lazy property managers are going to hate this, but this is for any person vacationing down on 30A. Your experience is 100% a function of the property manager for 2 reasons. Number one, they lie about the listing. They do not come clean in the listing about the challenges of beach access and things like that because they just don't want to tell you the truth. They're afraid it's going to be a problem. So
Absolutely.
that was one. And then number 2, they don't host you correctly or they don't take care of the problems when they come up. So that's what that was about for me. Okay.
Because a lot of them are too overwhelmed, right? It's too much for them to spend the time to fix one little thing that popped up. It's when they have 10 to 20, then now it's a thing that, forces them to pay attention.
Okay, number 2, living room furniture was not comfortable. It was from Target. It was from somewhere. I was in a property, $1 million property here. This should be a tier 2 property, and it's not.
Yep.
Location, tier 2. Property structure, tier 2. Everything on the inside and on the outside, not tier 2 by a long stretch. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3, now, Jeremy, you're going to start to be like, oh my God, he's picky. But these are things we experienced. There was a rug in the kitchen, and you could not pull out the dishwasher without hitting the rug. And it was just really a pain in the neck.
Yeah.
All
and
week.
Again, that's definitely been sent as a message to the host. They just don't care.
Yeah, and I didn't send any of them.
Right. But I'm saying a lot of these things, I know you're saying you're picky, but either in private comments or potentially even in reviews, I bet some of these things were said.
My comment was,
sorry, one more comment. Cleaners should be telling them as well, right? Because the cleaners are the ones that are going to be emptying the dishwasher and running and cleaning and doing that stuff, which means they're not having the right communication with their cleaners.
My comment was the rug in the kitchen's got to go for that reason, but also I hate rugs in beach. I think it should be all wood, like everything, because like it's just nasty. Like there's too much crud getting everywhere. Everybody's walking in with sandy, like rugs got to go, in my opinion. Okay. No coffee table on the porch, no wagon. We were a quarter mile from the beach and there was no wagon. And inside of the house guide, there was a comment that said, we make things available, but we don't guarantee anything. If they're broken, we're sorry, but like basically take no responsibility for the beach stuff. And I just find that to be unacceptable in a property like this one.
Blanket statement to cover their ass.
No, there was not a beach chair for the number of people that you slept in the house. So there was 6 beach chairs for 8 people. No bikes, which, okay, that is a decision, right? So no bikes.
Okay.
The entire yard was unusable. It was pine straw, the entire yard. And there was there was literally enough room to have a pool. There was enough room to have a pool and possibly a pickleball court on the property, but it was just trees and pine straw. That's all it was.
I mean, obviously that's a bigger lift, right? Of trying to get an owner to be willing to do that investment, but it sounds like there's a lot of other things that need to get done in that house first.
Outlet for the desk. Okay, so I don't know if you've ever seen these, but built-in desks, the outlets were all below the desk, and there was no hole in the desk for me to put no grommet, so I could feed my things. So I had all these things. Pain in the neck. If someone, like when we do properties, we're going to go in for a weekend or a day or two, and we're going to use the property and say, hey, here's what has to be done, right?
Right.
Like,
I'm always of the mindset, bedroom, workstations, things like that, of making it as easy as possible for the guests to plug in whenever they need. If they have to search to figure out how to do it, it's a frustration that really shouldn't exist. So I have some workstations where I have mounted something on top of the desk because it's similar. That it's too far away. It's too hard to get down below. So there is a spot right there on the desk for them to go ahead and connect.
Yeah, and there was two solutions. The outlets could have been above, or there could have been a hole so you could feed them below. Neither. They did neither. Okay, so not enough toilet paper, Jeremy. Not enough.
Yeah.
They treated toilet paper like it was a rare and precious commodity.
I think that's a common thing in that market, right? It's the old mentality of we're giving you a starter pack, which is crazy.
They had 2 bunks next to each other in their bunk room, so 4 sleeping, and there was nothing in the room to set stuff on. Not one thing. There was nothing. So that was painful. There was no switch for the fans, any of the fans, to work the fans. Now, I know my bleep doesn't stink, but some people's do. And there were fans in the ceilings, but the fans didn't work.
Yeah, that's frustrating. That would be frustrating in my family, that's for sure.
I mean, I've got a wife and 4 girls and a son and a daughter-in-law. And if I go to the bathroom, now my daughter, I mean, it's just not. Anyway.
Just don't go for the week. You're fine.
Okay, now we're going to get a little buckle up here, Jeremy. Pubic hair on the shower.
Perfect.
Paint chipping on the trim in several places. Kitchen table not big enough to seat 8. Not enough seating in the seating area for the number of people that the property sleeps.
The dining table one is a big one for me. I think I said that to our potential lead too, that like the dining table that looks like might be coming with that home is nowhere near going to be big enough to sit everybody. So you got to have
I'm on number 18. First floor, not big enough. Okay. That's a design thing. I mean, that's something that in design. Front door. Here's what's happened. While some people may say no, I say mandatory yes in design. This is not something they can change now. If you can envision this property, Jeremy, the door was in the dead center with 2 beautiful windows on the right and the left, and it was open concept. Because they put the door in the middle, the living room that you walked into was completely you were unable to maximize the space.
Because you're like walking straight through it.
Right through it, which meant the TV was on one side, there was a couch on the other side. You couldn't have a sectional because the door was in the middle. If you simply put the door to the left or to the right, yes, from the outside, you would have had to have a off-center porch steps. But when you walk into an area where you can make a massive sectional and do a much better design on the interior. And I find that to be a must. And if you and I know that we have a concept plan that we're doing. Yeah. My doors are on the right for that very reason. So you can maximize interior entertainment space.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. That's number 2. No tissues in the place. So yes, they treated toilet paper badly, but there was no tissues. The fridge smelled. Too much wasted space on the master bedroom. The second floor was designed in such a way, Jeremy, there was a first floor, a second floor where there were 2, quote, en suites, each with their own private bathrooms, up to a third floor, like where the bunk room was. It was only big enough for a bunk room, but the bunk room had no access to a bathroom. They had to go all the way down to the first floor. So my 23-year-old daughter had to take a shower on the first floor, walk with a towel around her when everybody's watching TV up to the 3rd floor.
Yeah.
And all they had to do was redesign where the master bedroom was poorly designed, where they had another very big space. If they rearranged it, they could have had like an ability for that second master to have a door into that bathroom. So at least they could have shared it.
Gotcha. So, but then the master wouldn't have their own bathroom.
Well, the master would have, but the second master would have had at least a shared bathroom for that 3rd floor to use.
I mean, yeah, that's a common situation of heads in beds. Where can we put them? Doesn't matter the situation, right?
Yeah, and that's the case where the disappointment comes in. You weren't thinking about the experience of the guest. Didn't matter. You're just trying to, it's one thing to do heads and beds, but it's another thing to think about the hospitality associated with it.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree.
All right. So no crock pot. Okay. Yeah. Really picky, but we had to take a crock pot down with us, and it fell out of my car twice on the back because I knew they didn't have one. If they had a crock pot, I wouldn't have had to fool around my crock pot.
Right.
And listen, for whoever's listening on this episode, for better or for worse, I blame the host. Now, you may say you're crazy for that, but a crock pot's a $75 appliance.
Right.
And to have it in the property so I don't have to bring it, that's, to me, that's 5-star hospitality versus not. I don't care. I don't care enough. So, all right. You had no idea this list. So now you're like, oh my God.
All right. That's good.
All right, here we go. Back porch was useless, Jeremy. It was a step down to the back with a grill where the chairs were, and the property next to it was the exact same size. Guess what they had? A screened-in back porch. People were using it, loving it, and they had a front porch that was screened. Not our property. Our property had a front porch, not screened.
Yeah, not maximized.
And
it's all good stuff, though, to keep in mind. Like, as we're having calls with potential clients, and these are things that we see, it's great to bring up.
Because no outside area, there was zero entertainment, no cornhole, no badminton, nothing. There was no outside. We either could go to the beach or we could be in the house. We could not do anything outside at the house. Real missing design, again, was the furniture and flow. Too late now, I get it. Master bath hardware in the wrong place. Jeremy, you know, this may conjure up like you don't want to know this about, but maybe the couples that are staying in these properties. But my assumption is, I'm just guessing, Jeremy, that if there is the way this property was configured, the way this master bedroom was or master bath was configured, the master bath was configured in such a way that it was long. You walked into it and you could see long, you know, it was like staring at you long front to back, and the shower was on the left. So if you wanted to get into the master bath, the only way to get in would be at the end, and then you could slip down in it. Great. But the hardware where the water came out was at the other end. Instead of, they could have put it on the wall and have it to the side.
So you have to get in and then turn on the water?
Well, no. So one person could sit at one end and one person could sit at the other if you were so inclined to take a bath.
Sure. Yeah.
Not with this. And all they had to do was put the faucet in the center of the tub along the wall.
Gotcha.
Okay, so check-in was 4 p.m. and they made it very clear you couldn't check until 4. And checkout was 9 p.m. and 9 a.m. and they made it clear that the locks were changing at 9 a.m. Okay.
Yeah, 9 a.m.
seems a bit aggressive to me.
Yeah, 9 a.m. is aggressive, especially off season.
I've always heard 3 p.m. check-in, 10 a.m. or 3 p.m. checkout, 10 a.m. check-in. That's what I've heard.
4 p.m. and 11 is also pretty common. And there's also that thing of like, do we do 11? Do we do 10? But the cleaners don't show up till 11, so we always have that opportunity to say, you have an hour, right?
And I love
no problem. Give you an hour.
You know, when I met with Happy Guest, I love their idea where you could upcharge people for an extra hour, or you could, you could allow early check-in.
Early check-in, check out. Yeah,
love it. Standard check-in and check-out is this, but if you want an extra hour, do it. Or, you know, when you deliver 5-star hospitality, and you and I know we're going to do this, is we're going to say standard is 9, standard is 4 p.m. check-in. Normally, we charge $200 to extend those by an hour. But you know what, Jeremy? For you, we're just going to waive it, and we're going to let you have it.
And the Poconos, I was waiving those fees all the time. I get so much good grace. I will say that is one subject that is hard to get over as a host, especially if we're doing our job right and it's peak season and we're back-to-back flips. You have no choice, right? If they're less or late and they're pissed that they can't check out later, so now they're leaving unhappy, but they took longer. So the cleaners are late. Now your new guests are pissed because the cleaners took longer than the check-in times. It's a delicate balance. I'm excited for your first guest experience of they're not getting the F out of the house. And, you know, we have a X number booking coming in that must be ready.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to keep rolling here. Several cooking items were old. We actually had 2 cookie sheets that were rusting. Okay. Believe it or not. So that was one. Kitchen trash. can, way too small. That was another one that was frustrating.
You have
Apparently,
enough trash bags.
no, I think my wife brought trash bags. I
Okay.
think they were treating trash bags as a rare and precious commodity as well.
Yeah.
Okay, umbrella. One of the two umbrellas was broken when we got there. There were only 4 beach towels instead of 1 for each person. Bedrooms and bathrooms for sleeping aid are really poorly designed, like I told you about the first floor. So I guess I kind of covered that.
Okay.
The chairs, I actually, I took a picture of one of the chairs. I'll show it to you at some point. I'm not sure this chair was $5. Like, this chair was, when you sat in this chair, you're like, listen, I'm not overweight.
Was it the plastic one that I saw in the,
Yes, that was it. That was it. This is a tier 2 property. That was the kitchen chair.
Nice.
Like, listen, like, I'm not saying it because I expect it. I did fine. I didn't leave a bad review. None of that.
Yeah.
So I can't be held to a standard that I'm like a high maintenance guest. But our guests will be high maintenance guests, and they will have an expectation because they're going to be paying a lot of money. And we paid a lot of money to stay at this property this past week.
As like an owner of that property, if you're not willing to invest in a better chair and you're saying, okay, this $5, $10, $15 chair will do, you're going to replace that chair 6 times a year because it's going to constantly break, right? So you're better off just investing up front, but a lot of the time it's hard to get the owners to understand that mentality.
So we happen to be doing this episode right at the edge of my end of day meeting with my team, and I've got 2 birthdays that I've got to go say happy birthday to. So we're going to wrap this episode up. Those are the 36 things wrong with just my stay in 1 week, Jeremy. What's your
my only thoughts? So my only thoughts, right, is this host doesn't have the systems where they're communicating properly with the guests, getting the right photos, getting the feedback, using Breezeway like we will be using, and they don't have an inspector coming to the property to tell you some of the things that the cleaners might have missed. And that inspector is going to check different things, right? The cleaner's job is to clean. In my opinion, is to clean, not to inspect the home, that they're going to come across things. They're going to let us know. And then the inspectors have to have another checklist to pick up on these items, relay them back so they can get addressed and avoid frustrated guests. Like you were just kind enough to not leave a bad review.
Yeah. Not leaving a bad review. That's what I'm not going to do. All right, real quickly. End of this episode, we promised we would deliver game changer number 12, the most popular co-host or the most popular host in town in less than 30 days. Jeremy, we've done this. We've seen it work. And it is the Facebook follows or likes strategy, where when we first started our Facebook page for Ultvare, we had 3 followers?
Yeah. You, me, and my mom.
Yeah, right. Exactly. My wife and my 12-year-old. But now we have 1,100. How did that happen? So the way that happened is we implemented a very basic but powerful strategy that we teach at MarketMYSTR, which is the Facebook follow strategy. Very simple. You create a 15-second video and you create a campaign and publish a campaign on Facebook with that 15-second video. And the objective in the campaign is page likes. And you do not, I'll repeat one more time, do not give Facebook an audience for that. Let them just do nationwide, because if you have an objective to try to have people like your page who are going to stay at your property, this will fail. If your only objective, which our only objective was to get page likes, we didn't care who they were. All we want to do, this is a vanity thing, Jeremy, and I think we just need to come clean with this, right?
I mean, it's a vanity and it's a credibility thing too, right? If you go to a page and there's 1 like,
And the truth is this. I'm going to ask you a question, Jeremy. This is just you be a consumer. If you had to choose, you own a property on 30A, and you have to choose between a co-host, and they both have Facebook pages. Ultvare has 1,100 likes on their page, and Joe's Schmo Co-Hosting has 14 likes on their page. Based on that alone, which one would you pick?
Probably not going with Mr. Schmo.
Right. And that's the point.
Yeah.
It is one factor. It's probably one of 20 factors. But we don't want to give our prospects any reason to believe we are not serious about our business. And this is one of those vanity metrics that if you don't care about and don't do something about, it could hurt you. And what does that actually mean in real life? Well, we spent $300, go from 3 likes, follows to over 1,100 likes on our page in less than a month.
It's worth it.
It's worth it. It was worth it to us.
Long term, it's worth it for sure.
If you guys listening don't like that strategy, don't do it. But the point is, for us, we know every factor matters. Every psychological thing that we can't control is going to matter. And if one of our potential clients shows up, and please take this seriously, is if you are building a business, a co-hosting company, you are likely, like Jeremy and I are, going to pursue this strategy of being the person of interest. And if you're pursuing it, you are regularly posting on your Facebook account and on your Instagram account, which means people are going to see your Facebook page. And when they see it, they're going to see that like number.
Yep. Agreed. I think it's a good move.
All right. Well, that's it. That's episode 13 in the books, Jeremy. Appreciate you and any parting words.
Just going to make sure you're never a guest in one of my properties.
Yeah. Well, maybe I should be, because I'll be nice enough not to leave a bad review. But I will be looking at your property closely. Yeah,
that's right. You should find the host and send him your 36-point little explanation there.
You and I know this, and this is like, you're saying it jokingly, but I know you know this, and I know this. There's not a more valuable present that I can give a business owner than honest feedback. You know what I mean? If I did give them all 36 of these privately and not give him the review, a bad review, that would be a really valuable present he would get. Yeah, I don't think he'll do anything about it because, like you said, these things have probably been there and been told to them before because there's so many of them. But the point is, as a business owner, I desperately want to hear good and bad feedback so I can make it better.
Yeah. I mean, the good feedback just helps, but the bad feedback is even better, right? Because then you can adjust and improve. So, well,
all right, Jeremy, have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too. Enjoy the employee birthday parties.
And make sure you send Jeremy a note thanking him for putting up with all of the lawn mowing noise in the background that you've had to deal with.
They're gone. We shifted a little bit later, so they're not. It's 2:30 is their normal time now for some reason.
All right, everybody. We'll see you in the next episode.
All right. Thanks, Scott. Talk to everybody later.
All right.